Okay, I'm just trying to do a live video. I've seen some other YouTube channels do this, and I thought I'd give it a go, see if anybody joins me. If not, I'm here all alone, which is, let's see, what does this do? Mute. What does this do? Share screen. Interesting. Let's see, what does the tools do? Set up an overlay for your breaks. Okay. That looks good. I don't know. Alrighty. How do you do this? Welcome to the chat. Remember, guard your privacy, enable, abide by that. All right. I think a lot of us out there, I'm going to talk to myself because there's nobody in here, but I think there's a lot of folks out there like me, maybe not as adamant about police abuse when they abuse their authority just because they think they have a uniform on and a badge. Many of them feel that they can make laws. All right. But the fact is that they're not legislators. They think they're legislators with badges. All right. I know there's got to be some good cops out there. I just know it. There's this one that I like. His name is Detective Thornton. You see him all the time on YouTube making comments on really idiotic police. And yeah, he's pretty good. He's a very religious person, and he's got tattoos like all the way down him. And you would think, I don't know if you trust this guy if he came up to you with all these tattoos. But actually, Detective Thornton is a very sound, very measured fellow. Seems to be a father, husband, just a pretty good individual. And I got ants in here. They crawl on me every now and then. But I wanted to talk about, recently here, police pulled over a car in Greensboro, North Carolina, with a young man, Amon. I don't know if I'm saying his name right. Amon Moore. His mother, Latoya Cruz Rivas. I watched the video on our local news network, and I get to know how to work these things. Maybe I can incorporate those things later. But I watched, let's see, you don't have access to this feature. Okay. I watched the news report, and you can hear the cop that's got him pulled over telling him, you have a broken tail light. I'm checking out your broken tail light. That's a pretextual stop because that's not what they were looking for. They heard gunshots in the neighborhood earlier that night. And so they pulled over this kid with two of his buddies in the back seat. And right away, the kid says, I don't want to get, well, he gets out. And but the two passengers, they don't want to get out. So right away, this officer, you can hear him say, you got a broken tail light. This is a safety check, blah, blah, blah. Right away. If you don't comply, I'm going to ask you to get out of the car. Well, he gets out of the car. His buddies don't want to get out of the car. So you see them now reaching in and pulling these kids out of the car. Now, everything up to that point was, okay. I mean, the driver got out, and the other kids just said, no, we don't want to get out. But the police, Greensboro police, have to open the doors now and drag these kids out. Why? Why do they have to drag them out? Well, because their authority is being challenged. All right. Now they have created a situation. The police have created a situation where they can charge these kids with crimes. Okay. There was no crime. These kids had done nothing wrong. They're in the back seat. No crime here. But the police reach in and pull them out. Now all of a sudden they're going to charge them with crimes for a situation that they, the police, created. So why, what? Just like this other video I put on my YouTube channel with I forget his name now, David. All right, yeah. He stops at a traffic stop on the interstate or somewhere, some highway, and he wants to look at these new patrol cars by the Guilford County police. Okay, he's looking at Captain Electro. I used to live in Raleigh, and did a lot of security, and had a lot of coworkers that used to be cops or were cops, different personalities. I figure cops are people, and people are going to be people. Yeah, but as police officers, come on, Electro, as police officers, you can't let your emotions or the direct assault on your authority make you into someone, that is going to abuse that badge and that uniform. If you ever did, just curious, have you ever watched the YouTube channel with Detective Thornton? If you haven't, I encourage you to do so. When I was arrested the first time by Guilford County police, and I don't know if you've seen my channel on that, you could see two deputies, much bigger than me. At that time, I was a 69-year-old man, right? And I just suffered a heart attack not a year before that. And both deputies, they grab a hold of me, spin me around, and throw me to the ground. No need for it. This all took less than 6 seconds, okay? And it was all because I said I didn't have to ID because I hadn't been officially arrested, lawfully arrested. And they just grabbed a hold of me and threw me to the ground, all right? Now, I sued, and I think everybody has to sue. When they're falsely arrested, abused by police, if we don't sue, and a lot of people just don't have the money, the time. There are lawyers out there that don't want anything to do with you unless you lose a limb or they beat the hell out of you and you go to the hospital. Attorneys don't want anything because there's not enough money in it for them, okay? So, if you go pro se, if you do it yourself, you're not going to get as much money, but you're going to get satisfaction. Now, I sued the one deputy, Winarski, and he had to pay me $10,000 out of his own pocket. The reason for that is because he wasn't any longer on the Guilford County Sheriff's Department. They had allowed him to resign. Okay. The reason they allowed him to resign was just a month after he assaulted me, he assaulted a female in the courthouse twice. Okay. So if you want to find that out, look up Winarski in Greensboro, Deputy Winarski with the Guilford County Sheriff's Office. Winarski is his name, and you'll see the story how he was terminated and arrested. But I sued, and I got $10,000. I spent close to $5,000 suing him, so I came out a little bit ahead. I went ahead and went back because I'm suing the other deputy, Jenkins, and the sheriff's department. It's really tricky, suing the sheriff's department. You cannot sue the sheriff's department. It's not an entity that you can sue. So you have to sue the sheriff. You have to sue the department through the sheriff, Danny Rogers. and hold him accountable in his professional capacity. And but I'm suing the other deputy, Jenkins, who out and out lied on his report. I mean, I have his written report and I have the video. I haven't watched that guy, but I will check it out. I like to watch the civil rights lawyers. The channel's algorithm that may. Oh, great. Well, I'm glad you're here. I'm not monetized. I don't really intend to monetize my channel, but like I said, I was a truck driver for over 30 years, and my first real encounters with police in a civilian capacity. What I say civilian is because when I was a truck driver, I ran into police all the time through weigh stations and truck inspections and stuff like that. And they were always cordial and polite, no problem. I knew what I had to do. I did it, and they did their job. If they found a violation, I'd have to pay for it. And that brings me to another thing, and I'm probably flying off the head. These cops never have to pay for their transgressions. The sheriff's department have them indemnified, where the departments will pay for their wrongdoings, and then they'll come up and say, "Now you watched me get thrown around by 2 officers. You saw the reports where they lied about why they did it, but you justify it." Okay, they justified the abuse and the arrest. All right, even though it's on video that no, it was not justified. So I sued him. I got $10,000 out of him. But if we don't sue these police all the time, then they get away with abusing you. They smirk at you. They put you in cuffs. They put you in cuffs too tight, like I did here recently with the UNCG police. I got arrested just last year and by UNCG police, and the sergeant Smith, he put the handcuffs on me way too tight. He refused to release them. So that made me do a lot of checking. It turns out that that's abuse. That is considered unneeded force when they have the handcuffs on you too tight. And I complained 3 times. You can hear it on the videos that I complained 3 times about the handcuffs being too tight. But this whole thing is what I'm trying to talk about. We need to hold the police accountable. Now, if you can't afford an attorney, you should try pro se. Now, pro se is where you're defending yourself. Yeah, there's paperwork involved. And when you file with the federal government, it's like a $400 filing fee. So you're going to have that. But if you know you've got a case, if a clear-cut case, you should file because you're going to get something. The big problem with North Carolina, and you need to video your own stuff because you cannot get LEO video without going through some hoops, and that costs you too to get the video. They cover the police very good here in North Carolina. You can't get disciplinary reports on police officers because it's covered under their personal record, personal employment history. And you're not allowed to have those unless you go to court, do discovery, do all that. And I intend to do that. So help me get back on track, Electro. Anyway, handcuffing you is basically, did you know that the police cannot just walk up to you and handcuff you on a Terry stop? No, they have to have articulable suspicion that you are armed, dangerous, or a flight risk. Okay, they got to have those 3 suspicions that you're armed, dangerous, or a flight risk to put you in handcuffs right away. Otherwise, it's abuse of you to be handcuffed. And you see this all the time, that police officers will just come up onto a scene. Oh, I want to detain you for questioning, and put them in handcuffs. Well, there was no reason to put them in handcuffs, because they weren't armed. Um, I don't know if the officer thought they were dangerous. I mean, that's going to be their excuse, and the dominance over you. Okay, and that's not right. Um, when you're approached by police, they're your servants, they're your employees, and you should let them know that, but maintain a civil attitude with them. I kind of went off on UNCG a little bit. I didn't act the way I should have acted, but still, they had no reason to arrest me. They arrested me. I was videotaping them, and I don't know if you saw my video on it, but they were. Let's see. I wonder how the arm part will work out with my concealed carry. If you have a permit, but you do worry about being cuffed and searched illegally. Well, the thing is when you have a concealed carry, as I do, you have to let them know right away. Officer, letting you know I'm concealed. I have a weapon. I'm concealed carry. Once you do that, that should abate any suspicion that you're dangerous, because you just admitted that you're armed. All right. And you can say, I'm going to keep my hands away from my firearm. If you ever watched, who is that civil right? He's always doing the, God bless our homeless vets. I forget his name. He does it very, very well, but he's always armed. He's got his firearm with him, and cops got in trouble for disarming him without reason in one of his videos. So yeah, you got to let them know that you're armed and that you have a concealed carry permit. Now in North Carolina, as you know, our legislature has done away with the concealed carry permit. Anybody can conceal carry in North Carolina now. You have to be a certain age. You can't have felony convictions, but you're allowed to conceal carry now without a permit. So now, if you do have I'm not sure on this, but if you do have a weapon, like in your vehicle, not on you, I'm not sure if you have to tell them that you have a weapon right away if you don't have a concealed carry permit. But if you do have a concealed carry permit, right away you got to tell, and your weapon is with you. If I'm in my vehicle and I don't have my weapon with me, I don't have to tell them I have a concealed carry permit, because I don't have my weapon. But anyway, it goes off in another direction. But you'll find that a lot of these cops just don't know the law or the Constitution. They make up legislation as they go. I did not know they did away with it. I knew they were pushing it. Yeah, they did away with it. No more concealed carry permit for North Carolina. So anyway, if I could let it lapse, so I don't have to worry about telling them if I'm armed or not. But I would rather tell them, because I don't want to get shot by some jittery, new cop. Where do you live in Raleigh still, Electra? I was just waiting to see if you answer. But I live in Greensboro, and we have a UNCG campus here, and these cops, everybody I talk to, it's just like they're tyrants. These cops, and like I said, the big thing is they always make up laws that aren't there. For instance, I got the cop that arrested me, the UNCG cop that arrested me, charged me with concealed weapon. And the concealed weapon at the time was 2 pocket knives. Now, pocket knives, and I looked up the law. Pocket knives that can be folded into their own body, cannot be considered a concealed weapon. And he went ahead and looked up the law and charged me with it, even after looking up the law. All right. I don't know. He didn't read the whole statute or something. It would, but anyway, the prosecutor didn't carry through with that. You want to keep yours, keep mine for reciprocating between Kinston and Greenville. Okay, Kinston has been getting folks on the concealed weapons laws. Okay, well, you don't have to have a concealed weapons permit anymore. So you just bring up the law; it'll show you that. Google it. But anyway, I appreciate your time here, Electro, Captain Electro, for coming in and chatting with me, getting some of this off my chest. I tried to with my wife, but my wife doesn't want to talk about it. You know how that goes. I love her dearly, but she doesn't want to talk about it or know about all this stuff. So, but if you ever get in trouble with the law, make sure you videotape it. It's if you want to get their video, you have to go to court. You have to petition for the video. You have to pay what they call a $20 calendar fee. So it always costs you something, but it never costs the police anything. The ones that wrongfully arrest you or abuse you, never costs them anything. And you never know if they got discipline. Okay. I went back and talked to Captain Whitaker, Lieutenant Whitaker of the UNCG Police Department. And I asked them, I said, hey, I got my knives back. And I think, hey, am I going to get arrested again for carrying my pocket knives? Or I can't tell you that. And he actually said, don't do it. Don't do something that's perfectly legal so you don't get arrested for it. What a Nimrod. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and shut this thing down now, Captain Electro. If you want to peruse my channel and look at some of the videos of my arrest, we carry our tools. My wife is a teacher, and she can't. I got a 380, but she's at home. The knife laws here need to loosen up. You can carry a pocket knife, all right? If you look at the law, it states certain kinds of knives, like switchblades, Bowie knives, and you can actually, it even states that you can carry those knives as long as you have a specific purpose for having them with you. In other words, you're taking a Bowie knife across town to your property to cut rope and tie knots and stuff like. If you have a purpose for having it on you, it is not illegal. But in other ways, if it's concealed, if it's out in the open, then it's not, a concealed weapon. But anyway, I'm going to let you go, dude. Have a great day. And thank you for coming in. Check out my channel. See what you think of some of the videos I created about my arrests. At this age in my life, I'm 71 now. I never thought I'd be getting in trouble with the law. Power to the people. Or video, all cops.